Maryland basketball trio will draw on last year's struggles during this month's schedule crush. Anthony Cowan Jr., Kevin Huerter and Justin Jackson were celebrated last season as the first freshman trio to start multiple games together in the modern era of the men's basketball program, but by the middle of February, each one of them had hit a wall. Fatigue set in. Shooting percentages dipped. Defensive assignments were missed. They each took time this offseason to reflect on the lessons of those dog days, promising they to break through any such barriers as sophomores. That is why Maryland coach Mark Turgeon appeared comfortable playing each of those three players for 37 minutes in a 72-70 loss at Syracuse on Monday night. It was the most combined minutes the trio had played in their short careers together, and it came during the team's third game in 4 days. The workload is significant in light of the Big Ten's unprecedented basketball schedule this winter. The conference's decision has to play its conference tournament beginning February 28, a week earlier than normal, in order to hold the event at Madison Square Garden has caused a crunch. To accommodate, each Big Ten team will open conference play this weekend with one home and one road game in a 3-day span. That comes on the heels of travel to tournaments over the Thanksgiving holidays that are often seen as key resume builders for teams with NCAA tournament hopes. It adds up Maryland, 6-2, hosting Purdue, 6-2, in both teams' league openers on Friday night, then traveling to Illinois to play Sunday, the Terrapins' 5th game in 4 states over 10 days. Big Ten basketball season starts early, and it's all a Manhattan project. The schedule is unique, Turgeon said. The 2 league games here in December was kind of the Big Ten coach's idea. I was practicing on Christmas Day last year. I begged the Big Ten that I would never have to do that again. Maryland will have a comfortable holiday break. It will play 2 games, against Catholic and Farley Dickinson, between December 10th and December 28th, and will resume conference play against Penn State on January 2nd, but until then, Turgeon and his staff must manage its roster and hope its younger players do not burn out during an arduous stretch. Part of the maintenance has been shorter practices, which is typical during conference play but not in the early stages of December. It is nice, you be in here, for practice, every day for about an hour and a half, you go lift, you go do recovery. In that sense, as a player, you can kind of sense that practices are getting shorter. Which usually happens in conference play anyway, said Huerter, who made 7 of 9 3-point attempts and finished with 23 points in the loss to Syracuse. Turgeon watched Cowan, Huerter and Jackson struggle with consistency late last season, as their conditioning was tested and opposing teams compiled thorough scouting reports on the trio, but he didn't have the depth to spell them. The 3 players recorded a total of 96 starts out of a possible 99. He doesn't worry as much about this season's most prominent freshmen, guard Darryl Morsell and power forward Bruno Fernando, hitting a wall later in the season because his bench can go 9 or 10 players deep. Those 2 have a lot of energy. They will, in certain games, not play as well. I get that, Turgeon said of Morsell and Fernando. Some of the upperclassmen do it. I think there is a lot less pressure on them than there was on the guys last year. Will they hit a wall? Yeah, they'll hit a wall. But I just think that last year, when the young guys hit a wall, there was no answer. I think if those kids hit a wall this year, we'll have an answer, which I think helps our team. This Maryland team practices harder than last year's rendition, Huerter said, which has largely been due to the emotional intensity of Fernando and Morsell, the latter of whom often challenges Cowan with his pestering, full-court defense. But both have had to overcome injuries. Fernando sat out 3 weeks shortly before the season with an ankle, and Morsell suffered a hamstring injury in the win over Jackson State on November 20th. Neither has missed a game, but Turgeon has been able to nurse Morsell. He played 16 minutes in an upset loss to St. Bonaventure in the first game of the Emerald Coast Classic in Florida last weekend. The following night, He played just 4 minutes as Maryland rebounded with a win over New Mexico. Morsell's hamstring improved with rest, and he was able to give Turgeon 25 minutes in the loss against the Orange. Morsell, who was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week last month, has already experienced the swells that come with the college basketball season. This is unlike any season the Big Ten will ever play, but he knows no different. It was a big confidence boost for me. Traveling from Florida to coming here to Syracuse, Morsell said after Monday night's loss. I'm taking it day by day. I'm getting better every day. More college sports. Maryland has an heir apparent for athletic director, but other questions remain. College football's final weekend could set a clear playoff field, or leave a train wreck. Ohio State's Barrett is expected to play less than a week after having knee surgery. A Florida State fan asked Jimbo Fisher a good question about loyalty. It didn't go over well.